Good afternoon and welcome. Thanks for coming. My name is Christy Rice. I'm a business development manager in Intel's Network Platforms Group, and my focus is on helping build out the ecosystem and help drive the network transformation.
Good afternoon. My name is Jeremy Rossbach. I am in product marketing with CA, specifically focused on what you just saw, the CA Virtual Network Assurance solution. Very happy to be here. I'm very excited to have Intel on stage with me today. Our session is about the dual partnership coming full circle to help our customers transform their network in order to be successful in the application economy. We heard from Mike Gregoire this morning. We're in a revolution as we speak. We need to transform or we won't win. And today's session is about two industry leaders coming together to help and champion our customers to transform their networks to win and succeed in the application economy. So real quick, from an agenda point of view, we're going to talk about and move forward with what Mike Gregoire said today around winning, transforming in the application economy, but specifically, what do we need to do to our existing network today to succeed, right? What are the drivers and the enablers around transforming to software-defined networking and network functions virtualization? What are these enablers then challenge us with, right? Great technology, we're super excited about it. Yesterday in our session, we had over 100 people there for our SDN and NFV session, but let's put the brakes on here. We got some challenges, we got some opportunities as well to talk about. Like I said, come full circle with two industry leaders, Intel and CA, to help transform your networks to win, and we'll get started. So, like Mike said this morning, welcome to the application economy. We're in the midst of it. Everything we do today is in software, right? Talking to our friends, doing business. I was live video streaming yesterday in our SDN session. All that is putting a big strain on our networks, right? As you can see here, 90% is what is predicted of video traffic will be by 2019. 90% of all internet traffic will be video. That is a lot of data over probably not enough bandwidth to handle it, and that's what we're talking about here. And then on top of that, 26 billion, we've all heard this, right? 26 billion estimated devices that can talk to the internet in just a few short years. Again, sending a ton of data over our existing legacy network infrastructure today. But we all know the SDN and NFV transformation is being adopted. It's happening today. We got somewhere to go, right? Recent tests are showing 213 million packets per second. The solution is out there, and we're here to help you transform your networks to be successful during that transformation, to meet the needs, right, of the digital consumer, us. We're the digital consumer. Your business today, we're graded on how successful we can deliver fast, innovative, engaging services. We're the digital consumer. We're not brand loyal, right? When I get into my iTunes, and I've told this story before about not being brand loyal. If you ever go in your iTunes and you have that section of it that says, all purchased apps, and if you ever look at it, I can keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and see all the apps that I don't even remember downloading. I probably use 3% of those now. No brand loyalty. If it doesn't work, I'm moving on. So in order to succeed and win the first time, we need to transform our networks to meet these needs. The innovators, they're doing it today, right? AT&T, they're already running millions of customer traffic across their software-defined network and their virtualized networks today. It's happening today. They're leading the transformation. Telefonica, a third of their network will be virtualized by next year. And CenturyLink is moving forward and offering NFV enhanced services to their small, medium business and enterprise customers for intranet type fast spin up of intranet sites internally. It's happening. The transformation is occurring. They're leading the way.
So Jeremy's talked about the fact that there's a lot of data out there, and it's not just one type of data. So it's everything from large packets of streaming data to very small packets from all these Internet of Things devices that are out there. The challenge is that we have to have Agile networks, or else it is going to be very, very difficult to provide that quality of service to us that we expect every time that we go out and we access our network. I read some articles that said when the Pope visited the United States a few months back, that there was actually millions of dollars of extra equipment that was installed just to be able to handle all the streaming video, all the uploads of photos, the tweets, all of this stuff. Largely, most of that equipment is probably sitting a little bit idle right now because the Pope's gone, and we're not doing these things at this same rate. Had the network already transformed to network function virtualization at this point in time, it could have looked much different than that. Instead of installing multiple millions of dollars of equipment, maybe there was a little bit of a build out, but instead of having to purchase new pieces of equipment, we could have redirected some of that traffic. We could have redirected some of the traffic to areas within the network that weren't as overburdened, places where we had some capacity. So network function virtualization gives us that agility that the network has got to have in order to be able to move into the application economy. What's enabling this though? Why are we doing this today? Well, technology advancements have finally gotten to the point where it's actually possible. You can take an off-the-shelf server with an Intel Xeon processor in it. You can run multiple different network functions on it today and get some of the data that, 213 million packets per second throughput. This is enabled by Intel technology. It's enabled by open source software that we put out there. You can go on to the next. So if you look at this is a huge opportunity. It's a huge opportunity for our customers, and it's a huge opportunity for our other partners. If you look at some of the data out there, it says that cloud infrastructure next year is going to build out and spend about $120 billion just in cloud infrastructure. That cloud infrastructure then is enabling internet services, new internet services, the tune of $450 billion. I mean, this is huge. By the fact that we've got an agile network, agile cloud environment, anybody is able to add in a new network service very easily, very seamlessly. If then you look at the network function virtualization, depending on whose data you look at and you agree with, the numbers say that by 2018 to 2020, we're going to have an $8 billion network function virtualization opportunity. And then this ties into, the whole growth of SDN, whole growth of NFV, and then network equipment purchases. They're actually growing over the span of about 4 or 5 years. $17 billion extra is being spent by the time we get a couple of years out. And so this is the real numbers. These are real things that our industry is struggling with, and network function virtualization is going to be one of the ways that we tackle it.
So as you can tell, Christy's excited, I'm excited. It's a very exciting time for us in the industry, in the ecosystem. It's a very exciting time for you as consumers, as our customers out there. We know we need to transform, or we won't be able to keep up with the demands, right? Like Mike Gregoire said this morning, we are in a revolution, right? We're in a revolution right now where things are changing so rapidly, it's hard to even keep up. But like I said, let's put the brakes on here. Are we really ready? Are we truly ready to start adopting, to start deploying software-defined networking function and network function virtualization technology? Let's make sure we have all our ducks in a row. So we're at the beginning of a revolution. SDN is going to transform and fuel. It's going to fuel the application economy. But what's the problem here? Why do we need to put on the brakes?
So you're right, Jeremy. Some challenges still exist. There was a study done earlier this year by Infonetics, and the top 3 things that the industry said needs work and needs help is the technology. The technology is still a little bit immature. We still have to deal with existing parts of the network. There's new parts of the network, and then there's old parts of the network that have to seamlessly work together. And then the skill set side of things. The skill sets required for network function virtualization are quite different than what we've had with the legacy equipment that's out there. So what Intel has done is we've taken a look and we've said, well, what can we do to help the industry transform here? What can we do to specifically help with some of these challenges that our customers are telling us that they have? And so we look at it from a, what can we do from an optimization, an integration, and an interoperability position. So we're working with the industry to help optimize solutions so they have the best performance available, so they take advantage of all the different characteristics of the hardware and the software that we have out there. And then we're working with the industry to make sure they integrate well together. So the whole basis behind network function virtualization is you take several different functions, you put them together, and together they create the solution. And so they have to be able to integrate well together and still have that same level of performance. And then they have to be able to interoperate. Our customers want the ability to be able to use one router and then the next day use a different router. They want to be able to have this ability to be able to change the way that their network is configured, and interoperability is key there. So those are the things that Intel's doing. If you look at the challenge we have with the legacy equipment and then the new network function virtualization equipment, that's where CA steps in. We really have to have an effective way to be able to manage and assure the systems. And again, Jeremy will talk about some of what CA is doing.
So thank God Intel's here. They're fueling the technology side of the house, but we're not going to put any new technology in test, in production, without monitoring it, managing it, and finally, and most importantly, assuring it, right? We're just not going to do that, and that's where CA comes in, partnering with Intel. The problem is that what we're doing today from an infrastructure management side of the house, our solutions cannot scale, cannot see, will not be able to assure the new networks of SDN and NFV. They just don't have the capabilities of it. Christy mentioned the old and the new. Physical network infrastructure is going to walk hand in hand for some time now with virtual network infrastructure, right? It's just how it's going to be. We need, and the problem with infrastructure management today is we can't see, there's no infrastructure management out there to be able to see the old and the new together, the relationships and the dependencies. What my coworker said yesterday in a jam-packed session, the intersections of the old and new networks, all that mapping. There's limited visibility right now, if any, into the old and new networks and how they're talking to each other and how they relate. There's no way right now to enable auto-healing or self-healing or self-optimizing networks. SDN, as we all know, NFV, changes are going to be dynamic. They're going to be enormous. We can't keep up with manual intervention today the way SDN and NFV will scale and change with the click of a mouse. There's no way to keep up. We have to enlist and enable orchestration and automation to do the basic human manual stuff that we do today, like we made a mistake in a router, we got to change it back, change a route, add a route, whatever it takes. Those things take time. We're slow, we make mistakes. We got to automate that to keep up with the speed of SDN. And then of course, how are we going to troubleshoot an outage? One, we don't know. A virtual switch is hosted where, it's talking to what, we don't have limited visibility. We can't troubleshoot a service outage when the very complex nature and ecosystem of SDN just won't allow it to be quick enough to do that. And then finally, we all know there's a lot of players in the SDN space. They're popping up on a daily basis. There's a lot of choices and flavors you can choose from. How do you manage all that? You're going to have a dozen management consoles to log into? That's not how you're going to be able to do your work. You can't dynamically work and work at the speed of what SDN demands. It leaves you answering or asking questions like what we see here. What, when, where, and why did something happen? We're just going to be throwing up our hands in the air. So what do we need to do, right? What are we here today? Why are we part of this ecosystem, Intel and CA, partnering together? We want to help you transform your networks, move from static environments, manual processes, human, manual error-prone techniques and processes to be more dynamic. We need to be as agile. Our infrastructure management needs to be as agile as SDN demands. We have to, or we won't transform and we won't win with the new networks.
So people ask me all the time, well, what is Intel really doing in this space? Where does Intel play and why do you care about this? Well, we feel like we are that infrastructure that is allowing this network function virtualization, this whole network transformation to happen. Without Intel and our processors and the advancements that we've made over the last several years in performance, in the number of cores, in access to memory. You can virtually take inputs now and directly put them into memory almost instantaneously. And these types of things are really what's fueling the network transformation. And Intel's not just about processors. Besides the processors, we also have the chipsets and hardware acceleration that sits around that processor. So if you look at our network interface cards have hardware offload capabilities so that you can get the data in and out of your system faster. We've got chipsets that have the ability to be able to do real-time compression and real-time encryption and decryption on the fly as data comes in and out of the processor. This becomes even more and more important as we want to be able to encrypt more of the data that's going across our networks, as we want to be able to encrypt more of the data that's getting stored. Being able to do this in real time and not have to go and do it in the background is huge. And then Intel's not necessarily known as a software company, but actually we've got hundreds of engineers, thousands of engineers that are working on software every day at Intel. We've made two huge purchases of software companies, McAfee and Wind River, over the last several years, and both of those have a place certainly in this space. McAfee in securing the data that's out there, and then Wind River with the Wind River Linux. They've got real-time operating systems, and then they've got a product called Titanium Server that actually fits very well in this network function virtualization environment. But even beyond that, we've got hundreds of engineers every day who are contributing into open source. So open source for us is our way to help enable the industry to take advantage of all of those different pieces of information that we have inside our processors, inside our chipsets. And so the ability for us to be able to put drivers out into open source or reference code, libraries, all sorts of things that allow our customers and our developers out there to be able to take advantage of the solutions that we have faster and easier, that's huge for us.
As Christy said, Intel's fueling SDN, right? SDN's going to fuel the application economy. Very excited, very proud. We had a global announcement today on our product. CA Virtual Network Assurance, just announced today. Very excited to help assure network transformations, partnering with Intel, a flexible, scalable assurance solution to make you as agile as SDN demands you to be, right? Visibility into, I talked about the complex nature of SDN. I love the visual we have here. I mean, all of us network engineers out there, we get the stack, right? This is a minuscule way to visualize the stack, and especially in carrier networks and stuff like that, comprised of tens of thousands of virtual instances moving around, spinning up, spinning down, needing more memory, not using hardly any CPU. This network stack is very complex, very dynamic. You need an assurance solution to be able to peel back that complex onion for you without needing manual intervention, right? We're too slow. We're not going to be able to keep up with the speed of SDN. Virtual network assurance extends existing infrastructure management that is solid, long-standing performance and fault management we have today, extends the visibility in the complex ecosystem of SDN and NFV. Protecting your existing infrastructure management investments, right? Applying that great performance and fault management to the hybrid, old and new environment of SDN. Really bridging the gaps of today's infrastructure management to keep up with the speed of tomorrow's SDN networks. So comprehensive assurance of a very complex, dynamic, fast-moving SDN stack, which is where SDN and NFV is going. It's going to be very complex. We want to help you assure the instances of your SDN deployments, the adoption, your production, your test. If we don't assure it, we don't manage it, we don't monitor it on the scale it demands, we're going to fail at our network transformations.
So Intel has a long history of building ecosystems. We've built the ecosystem around the PC. We've built an ecosystem around the servers. We're building an ecosystem around high-performance computing. And now we're building an ecosystem around the network. And this is huge. 2 years ago, we launched Intel Network Builders with about 30 companies. Now we've got over 180 companies in our ecosystem program. CA being one of them, nice and big and bright right in the middle, of course. But the goal of Network Builders is to have the industry work together in order to look for solutions and ways to solve the problems of our customers. Our goal is to facilitate that, to facilitate working together with the different different partners, help them along the way with our knowledge of what we've already done. We've got a number of proof of concepts and trials going on worldwide where we've been working directly with the service providers in order to do that. Now what we're doing is we're enabling others to be able to go and do that with us. So our OEMs, the ISVs, and even system integrators. A number of system integrators are really starting to look toward how do I go out and how do I help the industry transform as well.
Yeah, CA is very proud to be part of the relationship and the ecosystem with Intel. We want to help you guys transform your networks. Intel is a long-standing and happy infrastructure management customer of CA's today. We're happy and we're proud that they're on board with our infrastructure management solutions and using that knowledge to help transform your networks. So we're very proud to be part of the ecosystem.
And so then if you look at what each of us are doing in order to really try to help you transform your network, so Intel is really focusing in on helping optimize those solutions, helping make sure those solutions work well together and integrate easily together, and then working on the interoperability. We believe Intel Network Builders is a great way to be able to do that. We feel as though our 180 plus partners at this point are working well together, and we're making great progress with the industry.
And coming full circle, that's what this session is about, right? We're very proud to be partnering with Intel. Intel's proud to be partnering with CA. We're coming full circle, two industry leaders to make successful network transformations for our customers. You're going to move to SDN, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow. It's going to happen. The industry is going there. Our digital consumers, as us, demand it. We're happy to be part of this full circle of assurance and performance on the Intel side, extending the visibility that we so desperately need to be able to see the old and the new, the relationships and the dependencies of the old and the new network, the intersections of both. In order to troubleshoot, we need that extended visibility to reinvent service delivery, right? SDN is going to help us deliver fast, reliable, engaging services to the digital consumer, right? But you got to assure those services. 90% of internet traffic, that's going to use a lot of bandwidth. That's going to consume a lot of performance on these new software-defined networks. We need to be able to understand before an outage occurs, how can we tailor that outage? Virtual network assurance can feed information back into the SDN ecosystem about performance before an outage occurs to tailor that service, add more bandwidth, add more memory, add more CPU, whatever the case may be before an outage occurs. That's tailoring services in real time. Never been done before. We're excited to be able to provide that to our customers today. Down the road, future of the product, it will be enabling these self-healing networks. Like we said, there is no way network operation teams will be able to keep up with the velocity and speed of what SDN will be delivering. Your customers, you're going to be spinning up instances of firewalls and LAN optimized, WAN optimizers, whatever the case may be. These instances are going to be spun up in a matter of seconds, not waiting weeks for something to arrive on the dock and racking and stacking it. How are you going to be able to keep up knowing that a dozen firewalls just got spun up on your network? What are their IP addresses? How much resources are they using from the underlying physical hardware that they're being hosted on? We need to be able to know that. Feeding information back into the SDN ecosystem about their performance and automating the adjustments that may be needed before an outage occurs is self-healing networks. We're happy to be a part of being able to enable self-healing networks. And then finally, completing your DevOps vision. I mean, we're all talking DevOps today. CA doesn't stop talking about DevOps for the last few days. It's where we need to be, but who's talking about the new network in DevOps, right? We can't slow down DevOps because we're ordering new hardware. If we're spinning up new instances of virtual networks for developers, we can have them test code, test new Cisco iOS that came on a router before going into production. Quickly, easily validate that code, validate new vendor software before putting it in production by spinning up virtual networks for them, assuring that what they're testing is appropriate and going to meet SLAs, not using too many resources. We're here to help provide that assurance, and they can complete DevOps by assuring the network side of DevOps.
So the bottom line, we're here to help you. So as you look at how you're planning on transforming your network, whether or not you're coming from an enterprise or a service provider or a cloud service provider or a telco service provider, everyone could use some network transformation in order to be able to be agile, to be able to meet the needs of your customers and move forward in a positive manner. So we've done this a few times. We're working with a number of different companies out there to help transform their networks, and would love to work with you as well.
Yeah, once again, we're very proud to be part of the ecosystem, to be partnering with Intel to help you succeed at your network transformations. Bottom line is that we're here for you guys. Call on us. We want to help you succeed. Partnering with industry leaders like Intel and CA is how you will be successful in transforming your networks to succeed in the app economy. We have about a minute and a half left, so we timed this perfectly. To find out more, to hear about successful customers that are using the product today and what they're going to be doing to assure their network transformations are successful, tomorrow, Bell Canada, they have to keep up with the digital consumer. They are transforming their networks to keep up with some of the challenges and the 90% internet traffic that will be video in a few years. Their customers demand it, they recognize it, and they're transforming their networks, and they're doing it with the help of CA. Come to the Bell session tomorrow, as well as Tech Talk right behind us. I'll be there at 3:45 tomorrow to dive deeper into the solution. And then tomorrow afternoon, more partnering examples with industry leaders like Juniper and Tech Mahindra, CA working together to deliver and design innovative assurance, SDN and NFV solutions. 3 big industry leaders. Again, we're working together with the experts out there to assure your network transformations. Of course, right behind us, go see the product demo, please, right after we end this session in about 30 seconds. The booths are right behind us. The technology's there. We're happy to show it to you. We're happy to have deeper conversations around it. All right, so we're out of time. I'm happy to stick around. I know Christy's happy to stick around. I have my product manager here as well, Tim Deep. You want to have any offside questions, we're going to be around for a little bit. So thank you so much for you guys for coming today.
Thanks a lot.